verse 10. Great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch. The name of the star is wormwood. A third of the waters were wormwood. Many men died from the water because it was made bitter. And quite literally, the water becomes bitter. So metaphorically, we've talked about bitterness as in, our spiritual life and condition, idolatry and turning our back on God and unforgiveness and not loving the way we should. Those kind of metaphor, the bitterness in metaphorically. But now it's a literal. This star falls in Revelation. I got to find it again. Verse 10. Great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch. The name of the star is wormwood. A third of the waters were wormwood. Many men died from the water because it was made bitter. One other Old Testament illustration. Okay. Now, after Moses had led the children of Israel out of Egypt, they went into the desert and they needed water. They're thirsty. They're in the desert. They're so thirsty they think they're going to die in the desert. So they found a spring of water. But the problem with the spring of water is it was Mara, bitter, Mara, like wormwood. They could not drink it. So Moses prayed, and God showed him a tree to cut down, and the wood from the tree they put into the water, and the water became sweet to the taste. That's in Exodus chapter 15. Look there just for a minute, because I want to make sure I'm following the details. Exodus 15. I spent quite a long time on this idea, but I want to end on a high point with the Exodus, with the idea of bitterness. Exodus 15:23. They came to Marah. They could not drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore they named the place was called Marah. Simply bitterness. Now, in Revelation, the waters are poisoned. And they become so poisoned that to drink them means you die. Now we know that one of the increasing problems of the world is fresh water. We know that already. It's the world we're living in. It's easy for us not to think so much about it because we live in free lands that have fresh water. But in a lot of places in the world, my friend in North Dakota I met last year, he's working with an organization that's providing water purifiers. As of last year, they had provided 4,000 water purifiers among tribal people around the world to help purify the water, because bitter, poisoned water causes all kinds of sicknesses, disease, and death. So what he's doing is on a small scale. When you think about what happens in the judgment of the book of Revelation, when the waters are poisoned this way. Okay. The water became bitter. In Exodus, the bitter water became sweet. This is a good picture of the Lord Jesus Christ. In Exodus 15:26, and it's one of my favorite verses in the Old Testament. Exodus 15:36. The promise is, I love this verse. The promise is, if you diligently heed the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in His sight, give ear to His commandments and keep all of His statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you which I have brought on the Egyptians. For, here it is, I am the Lord who heals you. I am the Lord who heals you. Jehovah Rapha. It's one of my all-time favorite verses in the Old Testament, in all the Old Testament. I love this because it describes, what can happen when we come to the Lord Jesus Christ. Before, life is bitter and poisoned because of sin. But we come to Christ and our life is made whole and fresh and even sweet because of the work of Jesus Christ. I am the Lord who heals you. Turn to that person next to you and just say, God can heal you.